Man, weed ain't addicting. I just been smoking it every day for the past 10 years and spend hundreds of dollars on it a month because it calms me. Hey yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome to High Vibrational Kings. This is a channel for people that want to better themselves in life. Shout out to anybody holding on to their energy, breaking bad addictions, and trying to become a better version of themselves. Alright guys, so this is going to be a different video. It might be a long one, so get your popcorn ready. So in this video, guys, I want to talk about why I stopped smoking weed. You know, my whole experience with weed, things that I've learned about it, and, you know, overall my experience, my story. So before I make this video, I just want to say that this is for educational purposes only. I don't condone or encourage anybody to use any type of substances. And the other thing that I want to say is that, you know, this is my personal experience. So don't take offense to anything that I might be saying about weed, because I know how people used to be like, where they get kind of like offended for you talking bad about like smoking, or it's all about being honest at the end of the day, right? So this is my personal experience, and if you relate to it, then, you know, it's just like, you know, I'm just explaining like what I've experienced, right? So let's get into it, guys. So yeah, I started smoking weed like when I was 15. It was actually on my 15th birthday. I have an older brother where he would smoke at the time, and you know how people are when they smoke, they want other people to try it at least once, because you know, like you want them to try it at least once because they never experienced it before. But so my first time actually trying it was through an edible, you know, and it was on my birthday. But I might save that video I might save that story for another video, like the first time actually like getting high. But in this video, I just want to talk about like my experience with it. So yeah, so I was around 15, guys, and I started smoking. You know, I started getting my own little like pipes and stuff, and then I found like a connect, you know, the plug where I'll just like start picking up from. You know, guys, like in the very beginning, it was very blissful, you know, like I just discovered something new like in my life. It was like I never experienced that before. Like just feeling like thinking differently, and just my body feeling like, you know, just feeling high, and just feeling like these different sensations that I never like experienced before. So like I just wanted to like, you know, explore it more. So, you know, I just started getting into smoking. I was like in 10th grade. Very typical. That's when usually people get into it, or even earlier, like around middle school. But I was in like I just started smoking like around 10th grade. And, you know, like I said in the beginning, it was just very blissful. Like I really enjoyed it. You know, I started smoking with other people, and it was just like a really interesting thing to do. You know, like just getting high with somebody, and then just laughing and just having the munchies, and, you know, just like good vibes, right? Smoking in different locations, like it's just different, like a different feeling of where you smoke, right? Yeah, but like, so freaking motorcycle. I hope you guys hold on. Sorry guys, there's an annoying ass motorcycle right here, but all right, let's continue the video. All these distractions out here, but let's get it. So yeah, I started smoking around like 10th grade, and then, you know, like I met people through like smoking. You know, that was like the connection that you would have, like, oh, you smoke? It's like, yeah. And then you guys would just start hanging out together, and things like that. So a lot of my friends, group of friends in high school were like stoners. um and, you know, I would just smoke with them, and, you know, all these things. And like I said, like in the beginning, it was just all good, you know, just good vibes and things like that. um and, you know, like my dad, my parents, they they like wouldn't let me like smoke. So I would have to do everything like in secret, you know, like I would have to hide all my pipes and hide everything, like, you know, I would have to do it in that way. I wasn't like, you know, where those type of parents where they let their kids smoke and stuff. Now my parents were more like strict on that. So I had to hide everything that I did. And, that was one of the negative things too. Like, I'm gonna get into in this video, I want to talk about like all the negatives and things like that I started to experience. So that was one of them right there, is just always having to hide like like pipes and stuff. Because guys, like I literally started like getting like a whole collection going. Like I've had like a bong, different bongs, pipes, grinders, like all these pieces, all this weed related stuff, right? All those things I would have to hide it like in the yard, because obviously I couldn't keep it inside because it was too dank. Um, but even over the time, like I had so many pipes and so many like bongs like that my parents have found. So just that right there, like I had to like hide every time, like hide the bongs and all those things every time I would smoke. And it was just very like, sneaky behavior like that, like just having to do everything in secret. So that was one of the negatives. And then the other thing is, always trying to find like money to pick up from, like, because at the time, like when you're in high school, most of the time you don't have a job, you're just going to school. Um, so yeah, the next problem was always like trying to figure out a way to get money in order to like re-up. So like I would always like, things that I didn't really need anymore, I would just kind of sell it. Just started selling things in order to get money. Or I would ask my parents sometimes, make up an excuse in order to get money. And guys, like even the like it got to the point where I was just like doing like some like, I don't know what you would call it, guys, but just coming up with crazy ideas and how to get money. Like basically one time, guys, I literally made a fake permission slip for like I printed out, sorry guys, I printed out a fake permission slip saying that I was going on a field trip and that I needed like 30 bucks uh for like the trip or whatever. And then I literally just spent that like on weed and just like probably like, I don't know, some other stuff like a pipe or something, but just like always spending money on weed or weed related things, right? That's where all my money would go to. And like, yeah, like I said, like I didn't have a job, so like everything would go to weed because that was like the only thing that I, really cared about was just getting high, you know? So I didn't really care about these other things, so that's where all my money would go to. So, um, that sucked, right? Like always just picking up, like getting money and then just blowing it like right away. Um, so that was another negative. And then the other negative is like trying to find somebody to pick up from. The whole struggle, the whole cycle of just, having picking up the weed, smoking it, and then running out and then trying to get more money and then trying to find a plug, and the plug would be like not replying, or he would hit you up hours later. You'd have to bust a mission in order to go get it or whatever. And just things like that. Like it just became a cycle of just smoking, of just trying to get more money, of just trying to find a better dealer and things like that, guys. um and it was just like a cycle that I started kind of noticing, because like, like if like, cause obviously like the more you do it, the higher your tolerance gets, right? So like, yeah, in the beginning, like I would probably make like a whole gram last like literally like a month, because I would just need like a little nug out of a pen cap or whatever, and then I would just be blown for like hours. But as your tolerance gets higher, you need more of it, right? So you be smoking more of it, you need to be picking up more often. And it's just like a not never ending cycle of that. And then like you don't want to take a tolerance break, because every time, it just becomes like such a habit of smoking that whenever I wasn't high, I just felt like a void. I just felt like I wasn't myself, because I got used to just being that high version of myself. So when I was sober, I didn't feel like I was myself. You know what I'm saying? So like it was just basically like when you're in that stoner life, everything revolves around weed, you know You can't go anywhere without smoking first. You just want to smoke before doing any type of activity, before going somewhere, before, anything like that, guys, before going to bed, before you start the day, wake and bake. Wake and bake would just put you right back to sleep, honestly. Like, so it was intense too. Like, it would just knock you out right away, at least for me. Um, but yeah, guys, it was just like I started noticing that cycle. And so I was hanging out with like stoners at the time, right? And we would just be smoking like after school. We would go to this one friend's house where he would just have all types of bongs and pieces, and like I think he lived with his grandma, and like she was like cool with it. So we didn't have like I didn't have to worry about like hiding or anything like that. It was just like right there. Um, so yeah, like for a while I was just hanging out with like a group of just like stoners, just hanging out. But guys, like after a while, like I just felt like just hanging around them. I just felt like stupid ass fly in here. Oh my gosh, bro. This is an agent right here. You see this agent fly trying to interrupt my video? Nah, guys. So yeah, I just started hanging out with like these group of people, and like I literally I started feeling stuck. You know, I just felt like, because like we would just be smoking, get high, and then like it was just awkward. Like after a while it just became awkward. It just became really bummy. Like it just a group of dudes just smoking, and then just everybody was just like on their phone, or like it didn't become like, it wasn't as fun anymore. So at least like after that I just separated myself from them, because I preferred being alone and just getting high, just that way I could like go wherever I wanted to. So that's how it started. Like, I started smoking and it was like in a group, and then from there I started preferring smoking on my own, because I could just do my own thing and just not have to worry about other people's like energies and things like that. Because you notice that, guys, like when you're high, like you feel other people's energies a lot more. um and if they're like negative people, like you feel like it's just like just all these energies, like you just feel it more intense when you're high. So like that's why like I kind of separated myself from them, because like I like being in my own energy when I was high. So I started smoking on my own from there. And I was just smoking, and like it just became like boring after a while. Not really boring, but I just wanted to try like not something crazy, like how people, I mean, I know there's people out there that do like that go on to like harder things, but for me personally, I felt like, I wanted to try like mushrooms or something like that, like a psychedelic, which I ended up doing, like like shrooms and like LSD and things like that. But that's for another video. I might make like a video of my experience with that. But yeah, basically like after that, I just did it a couple times, but then after that it was always back to like weed. It was just like just weed and just drinking, but it was always mostly weed, because that's what I just been doing. So I smoked for like maybe like 5 years, since I started like 15, and then went up to like around 20. Um, so yeah, like I wasn't, how do you say it, like I felt like I wasn't really doing anything with my life. Like I said, I started feeling stuck. Every time I would smoke, I just felt like I was stuck in a cycle. Like I was just in a loop, like a hamster, guys. Like I wasn't going anywhere. Like when I was high, like yeah, I felt like I was doing something because I was just being high. But at the same time, like that's just a feeling, but you're actually not really doing anything. I felt like I could do a lot more. So one of the things was, separating myself from people, but then I was just in my own energy. But even then, I was still stuck in the cycle of always trying to get money, always trying to hide my pieces, doing everything secret, in secret. Um, and like I was just like kind of getting like tired of like being stuck in that cycle. Like I actually started feeling like the highs weren't even that great anymore. Like um like I would just like when I wasn't high, I would want to get high, but when I was high, like I didn't even feel like really that good. Like I was just high, but it was just like kind of like low energy, like kind of a depressing high. And obviously there's another negative that I need to mention is like the type of weed that is out there. Like you never really know what you're getting, guys. Even if it's from a dispensary or whatever, like weed is so different nowadays than how it used to be, like like how it was grown. Like all the weed nowadays is like they over enhance it. Where it's just like, like 80% THC or like the wax, like super high concentrates. Um, and it's like like it's literally like hyper stimulating your mind to the point where it just makes you like dumb. Like it just dumbs you down. Like it's like, and so there's all these different strains, guys. And it didn't really matter what type of strain it was. Like like at the end, it all started having like a negative effect on me. It stopped being as fun as it was. Every time I would smoke, it would be kind of like more of an anxious high, and like just all these like negative emotions I would feel. But at the same time, I would still be high, but it wasn't like the same as how it started. And this has to do with like obviously like personality, like how you start like changing over time. Like it just doesn't feel the same as it used to anymore. And so from there, I was just like, damn, like I want to like I want to at least like kind of cut down on it. So what, like, cause I was always like, even back then, guys, I was somewhat always into working out. So basically, guys, like I would just work out still, or I started working out, and then I would smoke afterwards. I would be like, all right, I'm gonna work out, and then I'm gonna smoke a bowl after I'm done with my workout. Like I was basically trying to be more productive with my, you know, my weed habits or addictions, whatever you want to call it. Because a lot of people say it's not addicting, but if weed isn't addicting, guys, try to go a week without it. You know, yes, it's not physically addicting like other types of drugs, but it's very mental, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so I was basically trying to be more like, more active. So I started like trying to work out, and like I said, like I would make like these goals. I would be like, all right, I'm gonna work out, and then I'm gonna still smoke a little bit on the side. And so I started doing that, started working out, and I would still smoke. But then what happened, guys, is that I would start working out less, and then I would start smoking more until the point where I completely stopped working out because I just didn't have that motivation or that drive. Like I was like, nah, just smoke. Like it wasn't balancing itself out. Like I couldn't really function in like a productive way whenever I would smoke. And then I noticed that like whenever I would run out, when I didn't have any money or any weed or anything like that, so I was forced to be sober. After like a couple of days, I just started feeling like more clear-minded. You know, I didn't feel bad. Like I just felt more clear-minded. I had more energy, more motivation. You know, but then like all of a sudden I would like come up on some money somehow, and then I was like, oh well, I have this money, and then like I'm gonna go pick up. And even after a little tolerance break, I would still go back to it. And then now I'm back in where I started from, back into that loop cycle, back into that, into nowhere. And I know there's a lot of people out there that say like, oh, they could function with weed, or they're successful people. Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, those are, everybody's different in life. It's all about being honest with yourself. It comes down to being honest with yourself, of sitting down and being like, well, maybe this isn't, maybe this is affecting me in a negative way. And it's just about like, just sitting down with yourself and saying that, because a lot of people are in denial about it when it comes to things like this, because they've been doing it for so long that, they basically, like, the weed is attached to their identity, or the other way around, where they feel like they can't, like, they're not them when they're not smoking, you know. But like we came into this world sober, so you have to be like, you should know how to be sober, right? Like you shouldn't depend on any external thing. And I know a lot of people say that like weed is for like stress or anxiety. Yes, I understand that, but it goes deeper than that, guys. I realized that what was making me anxious and just all these negative feelings was actually like the weed, guys. Yeah, you were like I was using the weed as an excuse to like as a stress reliever or whatever, but it was actually like the weed and just being in that cycle and just not doing anything that was actually making me stressed. It was just changing like the way I was thinking, and I just felt like I was just very stuck. Like I just felt stuck in life, and I don't even remember when it was, guys. This was such a long time ago, but basically I just started like I just had like this spark. Like I was just like, all right, like I want to quit. And I started getting rid of all my pieces, all my bongs, my grinders, everything. I was just trying to get rid of everything. Because like as long as all these things were there, all these pieces and things like that, there is like temptation to, still pick up weed and all these things like that. So the first thing was actually getting rid of the pipes and all these things, just clear them out. So I would just get rid of them. I would sell them cheap. I would just, I just wanted to, get rid of them like that. So that was the first step. And I don't know, guys, like literally like after doing that, like maybe for like another year, I would still kind of smoke here and there, but basically what happened, guys, like it just kind of vanished like over time. Like me smoking weed, like it just kind of like the desire for it just like disappeared over time because I started like doing other things where it just kind of gradually went away, and like so every time I would smoke, it would just throw my energy off. It would just feel all paranoid and just feel like anxious and very like it would just automatically put me like in a negative headspace, you know. And especially like the type of people that you'd be hanging out around with, like you just pick up on the negative energy like a lot more. Um, you'll see like yeah, just like all this negativity, guys. Um, like for a while, guys, like I was like into smoking blunts and things like that. Like look at this, like this ain't nothing, guys. Like obviously, like, but there was just like a season in time where I was just like into blunts a lot, but I was mostly like smoking bongs and all these things like that. But guys, this isn't actually like weed. It's just like pollen. It's like green pollen that fell from a tree. But yeah, guys, like I just started like I just stopped. Like I don't know, like it just gradually kind of like my desire for it stopped, and then it just didn't start feel like it wasn't feeling the same anymore. And back then, when I would try to quit, I would still be hanging out around like people that smoked. So it was always that temptation, It was just like, oh, you want to smoke, and then I would be like taking a tolerance break, and then I would cave in because I had my willpower was weak. But over time, as like the desire for it went away, uh, I could literally be in a room with people smoking, and then like I wouldn't be phased by it at all. Like I would, if they would be like, "You want to hit?" I'd be like, "I'm good." Like it wouldn't be like, maybe, like nah, like that. Like basically, guys, like towards the end of my weed journey, I felt like I was starting to approach it like more cautiously. Like I felt like I was honestly like nervous to smoke, especially like something like high quality or like something that was gonna like just throw me like in a like negative space. When I would smoke, I would just kind of like be very cautious with it, because I didn't want to get too high, because then I'll have like a bad trip. So it just started feeling like very negative and things like that. Um, so yeah, guys, like now I don't have to worry about wasting money on it, because guys, it adds up. It's literally like I don't know how much money I spent on weed in the past or on pipes and all these things, but it just wastes a lot of money. It wastes like a lot of your time and energy just sitting around being high. um like I just felt like I couldn't get anything done, guys. Like I just felt like I was stuck and I couldn't move forward unless I would get rid of that. And now that I did, I just it feels good not to have like that short-term memory loss all the time. Like when you're high and then you instantly forget something, like you're just constantly in a brain fog. But when you quit weed, guys, you don't have the brain fog anymore. You don't have to worry about, you know, hitting up the plug and then, you know, busting the mission to go get it, or any of those negative things. I don't have to worry about hiding anymore. You know, just like doing everything, like, you know, sneaking around, trying not to get caught by like parents or people or whatever. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I could actually like fine without smoking. Um, so yeah, guys, it's just like, I guess like it just went away like over time. And I might make a video on how to stop smoking weed, because this is just my video of my experience with it. You know, it started off good, but like over time it just started affecting me in a more negative way. So I just have to kind of like I realized like I was honest with myself, and I just had to like stop it, like without, you know, just being honest and just like realizing that it was just holding me back. And guys, it's just about being honest with yourself. So if, you know, just don't be in denial, like actually be like, is this affecting me in a good or a negative way? And just take a break, just see how it makes you feel, guys, because it's honestly been like over a year since I've smoked, and I don't even miss it or crave it at all, guys. Like that's just something way in the past now. Like I don't even care about it anymore. I'm literally high on life, guys. It literally feels like I'm high on life. So why am I gonna smoke and get high and then get all like, you know, my energy just gets thrown off? um it's spiritual. Like weed obviously is spiritual too, it's energy. So I feel a lot better in my own energy being sober and just doing my thing, being productive, hitting the gym, than just smoking weed and you know, just being high. Like literally, like I didn't start feeling high anymore, I started feeling low whenever I would smoke. So, you know, also smoke is smoke. So yeah, it's not cigarette smoke, but it still affects your lungs. You know, there's edibles too, but at the end of the day, guys, it just feels like a loop. It just feels like I was just stuck in a loop like a hamster, not going anywhere with my life, always having to depend on weed to do anything, to feel like something. But it's all like an illusion for me at the end. Like I don't need it, I don't care about it anymore. It just kept me in, it literally like, you know, I just felt like it was holding me back in life. um you know, like I said, it's just about being honest with yourself. This isn't a video to bash weed or anything. Like, I'm not telling anybody what to do with their life, or I'm not against weed or anything like that. Like, I'm just doing my own thing, right? People can do their own thing if they like to. It's their own life at the end of the day. But what I'm saying, guys, is just, you know, things get normalized in society, or thing in like a group of friends. So you come to realize that a lot of people weren't actually your friend. You're just people that you smoked with, or that you've connected with from smoking. But once you like stop doing all that, guys, you might lose like a lot of friends, because you realize like, damn, like all these people care about is just getting high. And then you want to do more things in life. You want to level up in life. So, you know, when you quit weed, you will lose friends. You lose, like, you won't go to these certain places anymore, or do these certain things, or listen to like, or watch certain videos, or listen to certain songs, like, because it's not even relatable to you anymore. You're like, you literally shed that old energy, the past you, and now you're embracing like a new version of yourself. You know, a version that's more sharp, more focused, more clear-minded, not having to worry about these external things. You know, not worrying about, you know, getting high, or just doing all these things like that, because you're literally high on life. You're just sober, you know, retaining your energy, you know, and just things like that, guys. So yeah, it's just, that's my story about it, you know. I might make another video, like I said, of the first time actually being high and like what I experienced, because I always think it's interesting hearing like people's like stories of things like that. But yeah, guys, what the heck? Some truck just pulled into the parking lot. Yeah, guys, so like look at this shit. Like all this money wasted, guys, all this time, energy. Like this is just of the past now. Like I don't care about it anymore. I'm moving forward, and it's very freeing too. Like when you're not dependent on anything, like when you're just sober and you feel good, that should be your goal, guys. So With that being said, guys, hope you liked the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.